Hey everyone, so today we are going to tackle something that seems, well, let's be honest, pretty intimidating: the Chinese writing system. But my goal here is to show you that behind what looks like total complexity, there's actually a surprisingly simple and, believe it or not, logical system just waiting to be discovered. And that's really the perfect way to put it, isn't it? For most of us, learning Chinese characters feels like standing at the bottom of the Great Wall. You're just looking up at this massive, impossible structure, thinking, how could I ever get over that? Thousands of characters, it just feels like too much. And yeah, let's talk about that challenge. For hundreds of years, the way to learn was just brute force, rote memorization. You'd start as a little kid, and for more than a decade, you just practice drawing every single stroke of every single character over and over again. And the sheer scale of it is just mind-boggling. To be considered a real scholar in Chinese, you'd need to know about 20,000 characters. 20,000. That's a whole lifetime of work. But what if that's the wrong way to look at it? Okay, this is where things get really cool. What if we reframe the whole problem? Instead of memorizing thousands of individual pictures, what if we thought of it more like playing with Legos, a set of simple building blocks that you can snap together to build anything you want? There's a much faster, much simpler way in. So forget that 20,000 number for a second. Get this. With just 200 of the most basic characters, you can understand 40% of common Chinese literature. Seriously, that's enough to read street signs, look at a menu, and get the gist of a newspaper. All of a sudden, that Great Wall doesn't seem quite so high, does it? So the whole secret here is to start with a handful of these fundamental building blocks. In Chinese, they're called radicals. And from just a few of these, we can build a massive vocabulary. Let's start with the first 8. These are going to be the foundation for everything. First up, we have mouse. It's just a simple picture. You just have to imagine someone opening their mouth really, really wide until it makes a perfect square. That's it. Simple. You can see it, right? Next, we have person. And again, you can totally see it. It looks just like a little stick figure caught in mid-stride, just walking along. It's basically a little snapshot of a person on the move. Now this one's a little more fun. This is a character for fire. And you could try to see the shape of a flame, but a much easier way to remember it is to picture a person throwing their arms out wide, just frantically yelling, "Help! Fire!" Once you see it, you can't unsee it. This one is just beautifully simple. The character for tree, it looks like a tree. You can clearly see the trunk and the branches reaching out. It's a perfect little throwback to the pictorial origins of the language. And in that same spirit, here's mountain. You can easily make out the 3 distinct peaks of a mountain range. It's another one that's just drawn right out of the natural world. Here we've got a classic pair, the sun and the moon. You know, the 2 giant celestial bodies that run our lives, our days and our nights, captured in these 2 really simple, elegant little characters. And for our 8th and final building block today, we have door. Now, tell me, that doesn't look exactly like a pair of swinging saloon doors from some old Western movie. It's a great image, super easy to lock into your brain. All right, so we've got our 8 Lego bricks. Now for the magic. This is the aha moment. Let's see how they start snapping together. This is where the true logic of the language just clicks, and you see how these simple little pictures create brand new words and really complex ideas. Check this out. It's a simple, beautiful logic. If one of these characters is a tree, what do you think happens when you put 2 of them together? You get woods. Now, what if you add a third? You get a forest. It's like a visual math equation. 1 tree plus 1 tree equals woods. It's that intuitive. And the same idea of, adding more to make it more intense works for other things too. 1 fire character is just fire. But put 2 of them together and the meaning gets stronger. It means very hot. 3 of them together, now you're talking flames. The more you add, the more intense it gets. The system can also be pretty funny, and it gives you these little windows into ancient culture. So this first character here means woman. But look what happens when you put 2 woman characters together. You get the character for quarrel. And if you put 3 together, that can mean adultery. It's kind of like a little piece of ancient gossip is baked right into the language itself. And here's another great one. If you take our character for mouth and stick it right on top of the character for tree, you get the word for idiot. And why? Well, think about it. A talking tree is a pretty idiotic idea, right? It's this funny little mental hook that makes it almost impossible to forget. So, we've seen how characters combine, but it goes even deeper. You can combine whole words to create these abstract, poetic, but still perfectly logical concepts. This is where the language really starts to sing. Just look at this. You take the character for mountain, put it next to the character for fire, and what do you have? A fire mountain. A volcano makes perfect sense. Or combine sun and moon, the two brightest things in the sky, and you get the word for bright. Put a mouth inside a door, like someone's at the door asking to be let in, and you get the word to ask. It's just so elegant. And we can keep building on this. So from China's point of view, Japan is the country to the east, where the sun rises. So the word for Japan is a combination of sun and source, or origin, which, by the way, is the character for tree with a little line pointing to its roots. So Japan is the origin of the sun. Now, what happens if we add our character for person at the end? We get Japanese person. It's simple, it's elegant, and it's completely logical. And I'll leave you with this last one. In ancient China, stacking two mountains on top of each other was the symbol for exile, being sent away over the mountains. That symbol for exile, combined with a mouth, maybe shouting directions, became the modern character for exit, which is a pretty clever hint that my time here is up. So in the end, what looked like this impenetrable wall, it really just turned out to be a pile of simple, logical Lego bricks. Which kind of leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? What other great walls do we have in our lives? What other seemingly impossible problems could we solve if we just took a moment to find their simple, fundamental building blocks? Thanks for tuning in.